Feeling hungry? I've got some fresh data for you. Hey there, this is Matt with State of Flex, here with a review for 2025's War of the Worlds. This is kind of a nothing movie that is getting far too much attention because even though it's got a big old goose egg 0 on Rotten Tomatoes, I don't think it's that bad. It's just, the problem is it's not very good. It's like way too self-serious to be even taken seriously, considering their lines of dialogue like the aliens are eating data. I don't know what that means. Are they like learning from this data, or are they just, is this something they're consuming for nourishment? It's not explained, and I don't know that the screenwriter had the wherewithal to explain anything, if I'm being honest. That said, it's also not altogether bad. I think it utilizes the formula of the desktop movie relatively well. It's not nearly as good or groundbreaking as Searching was, which I think is the masterpiece of the genre, nor is it nearly as good as Unfriended, which is a movie that I happen to like, even though some people aren't on board with. I think that's an undervalued horror film of the 2010s. That being said, I think this utilizes that formula kind of in an intriguing way with respect in regards to War of the Worlds, which has been adapted many, many times, and I just don't know that adapting it, if you're not going to do a direct adaptation, which nobody seems to fucking want to do, I don't know that it's a bad idea to do it this way for contemporary society. This is kind of how it would happen. The problem with the movie is it's just kind of underthought, which is, it is what it is. The film was made with limitations. A 2-second Google search would tell you that this film was made during COVID lockdown. And I think as an effort of getting a bunch of collaborators together to work on something from their home, in their house, to make a COVID movie, essentially, was really kind of unique. And had this come out in 2020 during lockdown, I think people would have been a little more forgiving to it. However, the film has come out and 5 years post-COVID, and unfortunately, times have changed. There's a big part of this story dealing with disruptors, and even at the time, but especially now, disruptors are viewed as not being particularly helpful to society. Disruptors are a bad thing, actually, and the fact that one of your main characters is very pro-disrupting is pretty side-eye kind of situation. The film also lends insanely positive towards the conspiracy theorists out there, and I think that is also a pretty bad thing. But I digress. The film hasn't aged well in a mere 5 years since it was made. And also, because it was COVID movie made with low to no budge, I don't have a problem with the fact that the visual effects are bad and of birdemic quality. I don't care about bad visual effects. I grew up watching the original Star Trek. I don't care about bad visual effects. As long as the story's well written enough, I'm there. Unfortunately, this isn't a well written story. As I say, they're not mining data, they're eating it. And I don't know what that means. But there's a lot of goofy stuff throughout the thing. They eat Facebook, and all the data mined from Facebook. Yet they save the day by uploading videos to YouTube. So apparently YouTube was not something that was worthy of consumption. I digress. I think the performances in this, a lot of people are dogging on Ice Cube. I don't think he's bad in the film. I think he's overly serious and stuff like that, but he's working with what he's got and he's fine. It is weird, though, right, that he's working on Homeland Security, focusing most of his attention on his stalking his children and family and whatnot, and then when Homeland is definitely not in a secure position, still continues just focusing on his family, and does so alone in the office, and can't get out at one point because he's locked himself in somehow. I don't know, that's silly. The movie is dumb. It's big dumb, but in an intriguing way that had me watching all the way to the end. I don't think it's bad. I certainly don't think it deserves the 0, and I don't think it's good. In all honesty, this is a movie that I don't know why it didn't just come out. People kind of actively decided to watch and or non-watch, and then it fizzled off into nothingness. Yet it seems to have taken like a cultural touchstone here briefly, so I thought I'd weigh in on my thoughts. It's not particularly good, but by no means as bad as people say. It's not even in my bottom 2 or 3 of the year. Maybe it makes my bottom 5, but I don't even think that. It's an okay film. I give it like 2.5 out of 4 stars. They did something different with War of the Worlds, which is, you know, good. I don't think there's been a good adaptation of War of the Worlds. I think that's one of the other issues. And this one did something unique and interesting in updating it, and it did so in a misguided way, but so did the Spielberg one. That was fear-mongering on 9/11 politics, and that just didn't work for me either. That one has very impressive visuals, though. However, also really bad, like, filter problems. The early 2000s. Anyway, what did you think of War of the Worlds? I've rambled on this far more than I ever thought I needed to. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Peace.